But yeah, so much went wrong for me in the beginning. Because in the time leading up to when I had to go, I came down with something I didn't even know what it was called in English until recently, and that was acid reflux. And if you don't know what that is, it's when you get stomach acid on your vocal cords, and it sucks. And yeah, I had to travel with that and deal with that for the first couple of days, so that wasn't fun. And then during some of the practices and some of the rehearsals, because I had to actually sing, I ended up losing my voice a little bit. And then I needed to do something else that I can't. I'll talk about that a little bit on a different occasion. But I needed to do something else that was also quite demanding on the voice, and I just hurt myself so bad that I had to go mute for several days. Luckily, it lined up almost perfectly with a couple of rest days that we had, and I just completely went mute. I was just like, I'm not taking this chance. I'm not talking whatsoever. So I just stayed in my hotel room, made sure that I didn't have to talk to anyone, and if I had to do anything, that I texted, and I made sure to take a lot of hot baths to make sure there was a lot of steam. I used a humidifier like crazy to make sure that I wasn't breathing so much dry air, which also wasn't a good thing. So yeah, that was quite the struggle. So once I started getting my voice back bit by bit, I was able to start being able to participate a little bit more in the rehearsals, even though I had to abstain from singing from a lot of them. And then, as if that wasn't enough, there's more. Oh yes, there's more. So eventually we got to meet like the amazing band that we got to play with at Overture. And during that, like that one practice that we had with the band, like before we got to practice on stage, that was, I think the reason this happened is because that was the one practice where I didn't stretch. So when we went through the practice and everything went fine, it was great. And then the next day, my legs are hurting. And they're hurting in a way that I have never dealt with before, because it wasn't, I've been sore before. Trust me, like I've been like sore in my legs and my arms from moving around too much. But it was like painful in a way where it was the bones themselves that felt that felt sensitive. So when I like lightly tapped on like what do you even call it, like the joint between my leg and my foot, I'm sure there's a name for it, it was just like, oh, even just lightly tapping it was like, ow, hurting. And then it kept getting progressively worse day by day, until eventually I was kind of limping occasionally, and I had to avoid stairs. So it was both my legs almost symmetrically hurting in that way, and I'm like, man, this sucks. So I couldn't like do the dance moves properly, especially a song like Democon that requires a lot of jumping and things like that. So as I started to take it more and more easy on my legs as well, and making sure that I was taking warm baths and everything, that I wasn't keeping them in cool air for too long in case I thought that, oh, maybe that'll cause my muscles to tense up, or that might be bad for them or something. I didn't know what I was doing. So it was getting like like hours, like not even like 12 hours before the show, I started feeling like, okay, maybe I can do this. If I can get through Democon, then I can do the rest of the show. So on the big day of, I took another really warm bath for my legs to like get them all warmed up. And then I grabbed some pain medication, popped that sucker right before the show, and went for it, and success! I made it through Democon, and the rest of the show wasn't too bad. So, I just wanted to prime you guys a little bit with the main story, the main red thread that was for me throughout the most of the trip, and that was just complications after complications. But I pulled it off in the end. All of us did, because I wasn't the only one that got hit with the bad luck stick. There was a few others as well, but it worked out in the end. I gotta make sure I don't forget about these caviar toasts. I miss them so.
やる気が出ない、やる気が出ない、布団から出られない。